Similar, similar issues. You know, certain well-defined communities where everyone had a knowledge or everyone had some stake in the case, which we believe is equally true here.
When's the next hearing?
It looks like the next hearing is going to be May 10th. May 10th.
Do you have any idea on where you would like to move the trial to?
Got to get over the first hurdle of moving it first, then we'll worry about where.
What about if that answer is no? What's going to be your next step?
Stay tuned.
Are you already drafting up a case for appeal if they don't change the venue?
That would be getting a little ahead of ourselves. No, we're not there yet. We anticipate winning this motion.
What is the next hearing?
The next hearing will be what we call a disposition conference, where it's going to be a repeat of the last one, where we find out where things stand on evidence and maybe set a trial date.
And that's May 5th?
May 10th.
May 10th. Where does it stand right now as far as mental evaluations and?
It's ongoing. Still ongoing.
You mentioned in at the last status conference that you were still waiting on a lot of evidence from some of the federal agencies.
That's correct.
That come in.
Some of it, I believe, the state now has and is working and indexing so that they can give it to us. So again, we don't have any complaints about the pace at which the state's giving us what they have. Sometimes it's a matter of waiting for them to get it so that we can get it.
How much longer do you think those mental evaluations will continue with the board?
I just couldn't say. We're trying to finish it as soon as possible.
How do you think the outcome will be different after achieving the venue? Let's say, for example, sentencing-wise, what do you expect it to be?
If he's convicted, it won't affect sentencing because the sentencing in this case is mandatory. It's life with the possibility of parole after 40 years. It's not a matter of affecting one part of the case. The reason we believe venue is necessary is he is constitutionally entitled to start from the position that the jury is fair and impartial. That means not biased one way or the other, either for him or against him. That's what we're fighting for with this motion.
Do you still think you're going to find that in social media? I mean, it's everywhere.
It is everywhere, but how you feel about a case is impacted by your proximity to it and your relationship to it. So I think people in Galveston feel a certain way about this case, whereas people in Dallas or Austin or such who weren't right there would feel differently.
Well, keep in mind the people of Galveston may feel like they have some sort of duty to their other fellow Galveston County residents, where if you move this case, you're not going to have that. How would you like to sit on a jury and be rendering something that your neighbor didn't like? Would the fear of that come into play? There's all kind of things other than social media that can play on this. That's why a move to somewhere where that's not an issue is what we're seeking.
Social media, just to follow up on that, social media, all it is really, in this case, we believe, is a window. It's not that it's controlling how anybody feels or making anybody feel a certain way. It's that it tells us how they're feeling. It gives us something we can point to and say, see, the community feels this way because there's 1,100 comments on one story and 98% of them have already judged him guilty.
Do you believe that this case affected people in Leeds City, in Dickinson, and other Galveston counties?
We know it did.
As much as Santa Fe in such a way that it would be?
As much as Santa Fe, no, probably not. But certain victims had connections to other Galveston County cities. I don't want to get into specifics there, but if you look at the list of victims, you can figure out who that is.
Sorry, did you say earlier that sentencing will be life with the possibility of parole?
If he's convicted, there's only one possible sentence.
Of the charges.
Of the charges as
are
indicted
pending right now.
Got it.
Nick, two-part question. You were talking about social media as a window to the world, but wouldn't it be in most of these social media posts that someone who feels opposite doesn't want to be attacked and would make a comment, and the second part would not want to make a comment? The second part of that, though, is that at the same time, if someone were to be reflecting on this and you've seen them post and you're keeping track of that, couldn't that be handled in more dire? Say, okay, hey, is this you? And handle it?
If you know about the post. I mean, the problem is we have one window. There's other avenues that are closed to us. That there's people that have blocked us because they know we're their attorneys, and we might use those comments in evidence. So we can't see everything that's out there. We can only take what we're able to see, what we found, and show it. Does that mean that every single person feels that way, or that's who chooses to comment, I don't know. I know that of the portion I can see, it sure looks like a big part of this county has made up their mind about my client. Therefore, I'm obligated to seek this motion.
There are some victims out there calling on the feds to bring down federal charges for those pipe bombs. What do you make of that?
I'm not concerned with any federal charges at this point. I'm just dealing with what's in front of me, and that's the state charges.
Have the feds brought up anything to you, asked for any evidence?
They don't consult with me. More's the pity.
Please state your first and last name for us.
Nicholas Pale, P-O-E-H-L. Okay?
Robert Barfield, B-A-R-F-I-E-L-D.
You too. Come on.
Okay, Katie Marie Lyles, Katy-Marie-Lyles.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Sign.
Díganos,
First, let her introduce herself, everybody.
Yes.
Sonia Lopez, S-O-N-I-A-L-O-P-Z. I'm Sarah Salazar's mother.
dígame, Sonia, ¿qué opina de lo que pasó hoy?
Pues lo que opino es que todos queremos que el caso siga aquí en Galveston, pero ahí será lo que decida el juez. Nos dio una semana para decidir.
¿Usted quiere que se quede aquí en el juicio?
Pues claro que todos queremos que se quede aquí, pero pues estamos apoyando al juez lo que él diga.
¿Por qué quiere que se quede?
Pues porque aquí fue donde sucedió la desgracia, por eso.
¿Qué es lo que, cómo pudo sentir usted cuando vio por primera vez de frente, cara a cara a este muchacho?
Pues sí, me tocó un poco, tuve que respirar un poquito más hondo para poder controlarme, mis emociones, porque fue la primera vez que lo vi en persona.
¿Qué dice? Sonia, me ask your impressions of the hearing today and the argument.
Well, like I was telling Telemundo here, that of course, you know, we all wanted to stay here in the county because this is where the incident occurred, but we're supporting the judge in any decision that he makes, and we're willing to follow the case wherever it goes.
You and others have been at the previous status conference and been following this. Obviously, it was to see him actually physically walk into the courtroom today. Can you give just what was going, how you were feeling at that time? I know Sarah was sitting next to you. What her impressions were?
She really didn't say much about her impression, but I know that when we were at home, we talked about it, and we thought that it would be good for her to be there so that she can face her reality.
Do you think today was more emotional than the last hearing, the first one?
It was, to me, it was because we were able to see him and as a person, not as someone behind a screen. It didn't really feel real to me. The last time.
On Sarah's condition, I know she still has a bullet.
Sarah, right now, she's taking lead medication to lower her lead levels. They were at 21, and the doctors want to get it to under 5.
What does that mean, like the blood coming off of the fragment?
The pellets that were left inside of her are steadily releasing lead into her system. So right now they're doing pills to lower the levels, but they also did a CAT scan to see where those pellets are and how easily they can be removed. That's where she's at right now.
Sonia, tu hija acaba de decirte que no quiso ni siquiera venir a darnos una entrevista. ¿Qué está pasando por su cabeza en estos momentos?
Pues Sara es una persona, ella es muy callada. Ella no es alguien que le guste andar bailando, gritando ni nada. So, ella es muy callada, ella quiere quedarse con sus emociones. Todavía no está lista para hablar públicamente.
Pero ella le dijo a usted algo, usted le dijo a ella que viniera hoy.
Pues sí, platicamos y le dije que pues que es una buena idea que ella enfrente su situación y su realidad. Y lo pensó y anoche me dijo que sí quería venir, solo la traje.
Has Sarah at any point dealt with determined so-called survivor's guilt? Is that an emotion that you guys are also dealing with?
don't think she feels guilty that she is still here, alive and still with us. Not at all. Thank God. She doesn't feel guilty about it. She knows that it wasn't her fault, that what happened, she didn't even know him. She had seen him here and there, but really had no relationship as a friend with him. So she doesn't know what the reason for this was, but she had nothing to do with it. So no, she does not feel guilty at all.
Seeing him in court today, was that emotional for her?
She didn't show any emotion. She just wanted to know if he was going to show any remorse. And that's really what we wanted to see. Just to see if he felt bad about what he has done.
And what do you make of what you saw?
We really didn't see him showing much emotion, so we don't know what to think.
So as a member of the local community, what do you think of the defense's argument that the community is too biased against his client to be unbiased in the potential jury?
I mean, you can't really say that it's just our community because this got national attention, and almost everyone in any community will have kids in school or will be related to a kid in school or someone in school, a friend or whatever. So I don't think it matters. I think anywhere he goes, there will be media coverage anywhere he goes. And about the jury, well, unfortunately, there will be some people who don't care, or they're just there to look at the facts.
So
And
what
so,
was it like seeing him in person for the first time?
it was emotional to me because I was looking at him to see if I could see some remorse, and I didn't get it. I didn't see it, so I just feel bad for him in a way.
Is this the first time you've seen him in person?
In person, yes.
Can you explain what you mean when you say you feel bad for him in a way?
I feel bad for him in a way because he's so young for him to make these choices and having to face all the consequences. As a child growing up, he's almost an adult, or if he is, I don't know. But that's all. That's the only thing, that he's so young and having to face all of this. And maybe it's not what he thought it would be.
You talk a lot about your faith. And faith talks a lot about forgiveness. Is there ever a time you think you can say, not holding a camera, that you could ever forgive?
I can truly say that I have forgiven him from the first day. I really never had any hate towards him at all, and I never will. I know it's hard for some people to forgive, but I just, since the shooting, my mind has changed a lot as far as forgiveness is concerned, and I just have become a more forgiving person
How do you feel
since.
about this family being there?
His family, well, of course, they have the right to be there. I don't have anything negative to say about their family.
Did you see any emotion from them?
Of course, they both the dad and was upset.
As a mother, do you just have empathy?
As a mother, as a parent, I cannot imagine what I would do if one of my children was to do anything like that. And I can understand the pain that they're going through because it's their child. And just from all the suffering that I've gone through with my children, face their reality.
There's been talk from some people, and I think you may have mentioned this in the past, that you're waiting to see what the feds do. You want federal charges for the bank bombs. Is that correct?
Well, I think I don't understand why the feds gave it back to the county, and they have not really called us to try to talk to us about anything since when it first happened. So I'm not sure how the charges work, the federal charges versus the charges here, the state charges. But I believe that it's either or.
Do you think that he could be charged with both? Do you think that he should be charged federally? Do you think he should be charged federally for the pipe bombs he found?
Well, if they find any evidence, I believe that he should be charged with whatever they find. So it must not be enough for him to be charged if they haven't done it yet.
Sonia, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you. Thanks.